great big man entirely made of snow. Oh, watch out! Don't cry, you better not pout. Here's why Santa Claus is coming to town.
Now, whoever decided I should follow that has one hell of a sense of humor. It'll be Christmas before you know it. We'll all be together again.
We told each other no more gifts, that all we want to do is lift each other up, each other high. And did you know that 15% of all marriage proposals happen in the month of December?
No way.
They do.
No, wait a minute, wait a minute. Bob proposed to me on Christmas Day. Wait a minute, he didn't propose to me. He never said anything. I opened up the box, I saw the thing, I cried, I jumped in his arms. You owe me a proposal. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in, that anger won't tear us apart. Light one candle to bind us together with peace as the song in our heart. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Did you know that your baby boy has come to make you new? This child that you've delivered will soon deliver you. There'll be scary ghost stories and tales of the glories of Christmases long ago. It's the most wonderful time of the year. There'll be much mistletoeing and hearts will be flowing when loved ones are near.
Let me make this a little bit larger. There I am. Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to a very early edition of Richard Skipper Celebrates. Now, the reason we are early today is because one of our guests, who I'm very excited to meet, because she comes to us via my dear, dear friend, Sean Patrick Murtaugh. This was the better time for her. And thank God, the entire group of people that were scheduled to be here. Meredith Patterson is not here today, everyone. She unfortunately is a little bit under the weather, but I'm going to have her on the show in a few weeks. So keep watching and tune in for her. But in any case, we're doing this earlier today so that we could accommodate one of our guests today. And I'm always happy to accommodate our guests any way that we can. And I'm very excited about today's show because I have 4 people, 2 that I'm actually meeting for the first time, 2 that I consider true friends, and they're all great at what they do. And we're going to be talking about creativity today. So I'm going to spin the wheel. No one knows who I'm going to bring on first. So I hope that she's ready as she gets back into her seat. And here she is, Ann Kittredge.
Of course, a delivery man is knocking and, pressing my bell. And I'm like,
get up, go back and get what the delivery.
I did. I got
Did you see who it's from?
I know. Yes, I do know who it's from.
Good.
If we have so many deliveries this time of year, it's like.
Well, you should be getting something from me today.
Really?
That's why I'm asking you to check it out. So.
Oh.
Yes. So maybe his timing was just, what's the word I'm looking for? Serendipitous.
Serendipitous, yeah.
Serendipitous. So anyway, I want to tell everyone, I saw your Christmas show a few weeks ago. with this incredible cast that you brought together. And I'm telling you, it set the tone for this season. It was great. You've got this great CD out now called You Slay Me. And we got some selections from that. And people can get You Slay Me on all streaming platforms.
Yes, yeah, and you can even purchase it. And if you purchase it, I actually make money off of that. So think about it. But yeah, no, it is. It's available on all streaming platforms. And as a matter of fact, you know this, Richard. I created a playlist of all of the artists that were in my show, a holiday playlist of all the shows, of all the holiday songs that they have released. And not all of them, you know, I made a playlist of them. And the QR code is on my website, the front page of my website. Mm-hmm. So if anyone wants to add a holiday playlist, Bob and I listened to it while we were trimming the tree Wednesday night, and we were like, wow, this is a good playlist.
Well, your entire show, I mean, talk about playlist. I mean, every song, every story, every anecdote. You know, tomorrow night, for those, and I'll talk about this a little later in the show, but I'm also doing a Christmas concert at our church, which is not all, it's both secular and non-secular music, both reverent and irreverent. So please join us in Rockland County tomorrow night if you're able to do so. And I'm thinking about my opening patter with this. And when I'm thinking about holiday, you sang a song in the show that really got me. And it was about placing each ornament on the Christmas tree. Oh, yeah. And the meaning that goes behind that. And I'm thinking about this time of year because those of you who watch the show, who know who I am, know what I'm all about, I'm a big proponent for reaching out. And I do that year round. And it's very interesting that this time of year, everyone sends out a Christmas card. A lot of those Christmas cards have a Christmas letter giving an outline of what they've done over the past of the year. And I'm thinking, wouldn't it be nice if people carry that tradition throughout the year and send out cards or letters? I miss the fact that we don't get cards and letters like we used to. Yeah. And but I'm thinking about walking into a department store, walking into the supermarket. And I know some people complain about the Christmas songs starting so early. I love it because to me, it's like these classic songs that are being played. You know, I mean, the fact that you can hear Brenda Lee on the radio now, yeah, and you can't hear her the rest of the year on the radio.
Right, right.
So to me, it's all about these traditions that bring us back. I was watching The View this morning and they were talking about Christmas traditions. Is there a particular tradition from your childhood that's very important to you to keep maintaining in your life with your family today?
Not from my childhood, but from my children's childhood, I would have to say yes. I think in my, you know, the funny thing is my parents were wonderful, but everything, even, oh, I mean, well, what? That's not true. I guess one of the traditions that was my family that we do keep up is it's a very small group. It's like we just the family. Like Christmas Day is just the family. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we always did, and that's true. And I like that because usually the lead up is so crazy. We have a traditional Christmas Eve party, and believe me, by Christmas Day we're done. So we just watch Christmas movies and stuff like that. And you know when I'm looking back, we had a tradition of right after Thanksgiving, we'd sit around and we'd watch It's a Wonderful Life, which we're not together anymore, but I think most of us still do it. We did it. I know my brother did too. So I'm guessing my other brother might have too. And yeah, I mean, you don't want to know all the traditions. There are so many traditions. I think one of the ones that I guess I look forward to is at Christmas Eve after everyone leaves, and they leave pretty early because the party is scheduled to end around 7 in the evening, because at 7 o'clock, the neighborhood all congregates in this area called Station Square, and it's like Whoville, and we sing Christmas carols together.
I love that.
It's like my whole party walks down with us, and we do that for an hour, and then they go home. So when we get back, the kids all get new pajamas, and this is the best part. my son reads "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" every year.
Oh, I
Every
love that.
year. I love it too. I mean,
Well, I want to bring our next guest on, but before we do, because we are talking about creativity today, I want to ask, when do you feel most creatively alive, and what conditions help that creativity emerge? Is it on stage, or is it in the rehearsal studio?
I feel most creatively alive when I'm collaborating with people, whether it's on or off stage.
Mhm.
If I'm doing a duet, like I loved the duets. I was over the moon with the duets in the show the other day, which you don't get to do that often, in cabaret. And then, but you put Chris and Barry and I in a room, and we start, it is just so thrilling because we are all coming from different places. We all have very different ideas, and
And for those who don't know, that's Chris Denny and Barry Kleinbord.
Thank
So I
you.
want to point that out. So you're going to bring on our next guest,
Okay.
and you're in the Monty Hall seat today. So door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3?
Well, 3 is my lucky number.
Well, I'm going to tell you, knowing him is also lucky. I have to tell you, a few weeks ago, I went and saw Chris Autore's show. I mean, it was just so much fun. I told him at the end of the show, it was almost as if I was going back in time to the acts that used to play the Copacabana and the Plush Room and the Persian Room and the Waldorf. And if you're in New York, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'll be right there.
I'm going to bring him on since she disappeared. So, Chris, as I was saying, those rooms playing those, I mean, your show is just incredible. So, congratulations. And you're again this Sunday.
Yes, I'm getting ready to come back to New York in a few days.
And are you pretty much, are you sold out?
I have no idea. I never want to know. I always like to be.
You certainly showed sold out the last time.
Yes, it was, but I didn't know that either. I found out when someone tried to make a reservation and they couldn't make a reservation. That's when I discovered it was sold out. But I didn't know then either. I really don't want to know because I want to be surprised. I don't expect it to be sold out. To be honest with you, it's a really bad week.
Well, it's a good week. It's just bad timing.
Everyone's going away is what I meant. Everybody's doing something. But like Jeff Harner told me the other night, there's 1 million people in New York. There's got to be, I'm just hoping that it'll work out.
Well, all you can do is you can put the word out, and trust me, the people that are there, and I know you've got some big name people that are going to be in the audience.
Right.
The fact that they are there, that's all you need to focus on.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm kind of working on. I've inserted the Christmas song into this show that I didn't have in the last show because I think that it would be very nice. I took 2 songs out from the first show and inserted this one. So I'm pretty excited about that.
So what is your biggest takeaway from doing the show recently? I know that this was a big dream of yours. It was your cabaret debut in New York, although you've been performing for, and this is hard for me to even say because I don't believe it, you've been performing for 75 years.
Jesus.
And
Yep.
and your voice is phenomenal. Your stage presence is phenomenal. I mean, it was just a really great show.
Thank you so much. I ran out of things to do. I've been a workhorse all these years. I've been working in lounges and hotels and doing, but I've never done a cabaret show before, and I wanted to do something different. And I have to tell you, it was the greatest feeling I've ever received performing anywhere I've ever done. Is standing there and doing that show it's really what I want to do now.
Oh.
Well, you do it so well. Well, we're going to bring our next guest on in a moment. But before we do, I want to ask you, has your definition of creativity changed over the years? And if so,
No.
how has it changed?
It has not changed. I've always been ambitious. I've always wanted to do, go. And I don't leave any stones unturned. So that's my thing of keeping things going and busy. And you asked Anne about tradition, and if I may say, my tradition is always my trains, my electric trains every Christmas was my big thing when I was a kid.
One of my favorite pictures of myself with my dad is the two of us playing with my first train set. Because it was the same thing. I loved, and getting a new car for the train every year was exciting.
Yes.
So that was
Yes.
great. Well, Chris, you're going to bring on our next guest, and these are two new people in my life. So I'm excited about this. So door number 1 or door number 2?
I would say door number 1.
And well, he has a dual personality. And one of those personalities is going to be at the Laurie Beachman on February 20th. It's Francis Asissy. So here he is, Patrick Butler, the alter ego of Francis Asissy. And welcome to the show, Francis.
Oh, thank you so much. I was hoping to bring Frances with me, but I'm traveling for work and she didn't quite fit in the luggage. So you have to do with me today.
Well, trust me, I don't know if you know this about me, but I spent 20 years of my life performing as Carol Channing. So I know what it takes to become this persona. But how was Frances born? Let's go there.
Yeah, during the pandemic, my husband and I live in a house with another gay couple, and we started to do virtual trivia shows. And 3 of us were in drag and terrible. And one decided not to do drag. But over the years, it's just kind of taken its toll. And the name, sadly, was during a COVID funeral. I hate to say this. I was in a cathedral, and it was St. Francis of Assisi. Of Asissy, and I was like, this would be a great drag name. And so during the pandemic, she was born the look and born the name, and there it is.
Now, I know that you also appear with the New York City Gay Men's Chorus, one of the absolute highlights of my life. They used to, I don't know if they still do, but they used to do concerts at Carnegie Hall. And one year I was their headliner, and I performed as Carol Channing at Carnegie Hall. On the main stage, not on one of the side stages. So that was truly one of the thrills of my life. How did you get involved with the New York City Gay Men's Chorus?
Yeah, moving back to New York, it's something I've always wanted to do. And just the auditions book up really quickly. So if you're not in the newsletter, you miss out. So thought in advance, and then January of 23, auditioned and got in. Something I've missed performing in a chorus for so many years, over 20 years. So it was just a big passion project. And honestly, some of our more seasoned members do talk about Carnegie Hall quite fondly and do remember you and your performance and do speak about you quite often, actually.
Oh, that's nice to hear that. So thank you very much for that. With Sam Harris was the other headliner for that show.
Amazing.
And that was just an incredible night. So you say when you came back to New York, where were you living?
Yeah, I moved to New York City in like 2003. I moved away to be closer to my sister. She was dealing with some cancer. So we left for about 8 years and then moved back right before COVID. It was the perfect timing to move back to New York. But yeah.
Now, I have to ask you, because this is a sitcom waiting to happen, and I think there have been sitcoms, 2 gay couples living in the same household.
During pandemic, yeah, I mean, we have we name our house Wonky Bottom. There is an Instagram. I'm very thankful. I don't know that my husband and I would have gotten through the pandemic without our friends, our very dear friends. And we feel very fortunate we were in the situation we were in.
Wow. Well, God bless you. Well, before we bring Jessica on, who's waiting very patiently in the wings, what is a creative risk that you took? Maybe this is it, that taught you more than any success ever could?
Sure. I mean, going through musical theater training and college and being booted from that program, it's part of my show. I'll explain the whole story. It's been over 20 years, and this is really my time to really find my voice again at 47. And the chorus really has helped me do that. And this is the next step in just kind of not taking any shit and just doing it.
Now we're getting a little feedback. I don't know where that's coming from. Chris? Maybe. Oh, he's picked up his cat. So anyway, I want to talk a little bit about Jessica. Jessica, we are meeting here today for the first time. And Jessica is a mutual friend of Sean Patrick Martog, one of my favorite men on the planet.
Mhm.
And you have this very interesting career that you've created for yourself. Duology of presence. So what
Yeah.
exactly does that mean?
So I am a musical theater performer, first and foremost. And I moved to New York to follow the dream, and one of the things for me here in the Bay Area, like I'd had success, things were good. But I had terrible, terrible performance anxiety, especially around auditions. And I thought, well, if I could just audition more, this would get better. And so part of the reason I went to New York was to just practice auditioning more because we just don't have that many auditions here. And it got worse. It got worse and it got worse. And I looked at that and I thought that was very interesting. But as fate would have it, within weeks of my getting to New York, I stumbled on a program called Z Health that my voice teacher, Andrew Byrne, who I had been working with already, had another student that was teaching this neuro work for singers. And I jumped in and my life changed, like almost instantaneously. Figured out there were things happening with my eyes and things happening with my vestibular system, my onboard balance system, that were filling my threat bucket, is the analogy we use in the neuro world, and making it impossible for me to bring my creative energy into the room because my nervous system was just fried. And I started to clean up those systems and everything got better and better and better and better. And then I had a baby and I left New York.
Well, good for you. I mean, wow, what a story. But I hear so many people, some of the biggest names in show business, have said that I was watching, and believe it or not, because I went on this Dick Van Dyke kick last night for his 100th birthday. And I was watching an interview with Sally Ann Howes, who played Truly Scrumptious. And she said she was the worst auditioner in the world. And she said she never got one job that she had to audition for. And she said every job that she got was because of people she knows in the business who said, we want you to do this role. She got the call to do Truly Scrumptious and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which is her most well-known role. But she said if she had had to audition for that, it would have been a different actor. What do you think is the biggest block that people have when it comes to auditioning? I mean, I, for one, I love to audition. They never knew what to do with me, but I love to audition. I walked into that room and here I am, folks. But what is the biggest obstacle that you think most people face?
I think that we're asking ourselves to do something big, right? And there is an inherent judgment that's happening there, right? That, even though everyone in the room wants you to succeed, that there is still this observer state that for me was so much louder in the audition room. But I think part of it, I now play with the senses. If I'm in costume, if I have lights, if there's music, and to Anne's point, a cast, right? There's collaboration happening. There's so much feeding that moment that there's something bigger than me that's happening, right? I can get outside myself and do that. In the room, it's literally eyes on you with this conversation of, is this going to work, right? Like for X, Y, or Z reason. And as much as I would tell myself, gosh, I love performing before I'd walk in the room, it was a thing. And I think for me, the breathing was a big piece of it. My vocal instrument has been a journey, a relationship of a lifetime, isn't it all? But I didn't trust it all the time. And so if I'm nervous and if that breath is being compromised, it was like, is this going to work? Is never a great place to be. But so it's a big ask. And I think that ability, there's such a beautiful, I have no idea response I want to say to that, right? Because it's different for everybody. Is it that I'm emotionally just not ready for this? Am I not in a great headspace? Is my voice not in a great space? Is that impacting things? And then this piece that I had never considered is my physical body like ready to do a big thing. And to the extent that my physical body, and I had a lot of health issues in my 20s and my 30s. So like there was a lot going on that was not just about performing. And in some way, I think it was my body's way of being like, you're actually not healthy enough to tackle this right now. Let's
Wow.
get you healthy and then you can play.
Well, I want to spend a little time. I'm so glad that you're here today, Jessica, because I had picked this topic of creativity before I even knew that you were going to be here today. And I want to start with you, Anne. Were you or are you a good auditioner? And what works for you and what doesn't work for you when it comes to auditioning? And remember, you're muted.
I just wanted to make sure that noise wasn't me, so I muted.
Oh, it was coming from Chris.
Oh, okay.
I figured.
I love auditioning because you just have to create. You don't have a director to tell you what direction you want to go. You've got to get as much information as you can before you walk into the room. And then what I really try to do is be in such a place for the audition that I can ask for direction, like say, is there something in particular you're looking for in this character before I do the reading? And if I'm prepared enough, it doesn't throw me. It actually excites me. It's the creative process that I find so exciting. I really do. And the other thing is too, I am so focused on everyone but me. So like I'm there, I've got enough confidence to know that I'm skilled. I don't have the confidence to know I'm going to get the job because there's a lot of skilled people out there, but I'm confident enough that I'm skilled. And if my skills don't suit them, there's nothing I can do about that. But if I give as much as I can to them so that they feel like I'm taking care of what they need, then it just makes me feel good.
That's great. Chris, I want to ask you, and I'm unmuting you. We were getting feedback, just to let you know, from your computer. But Chris, when you are trying out in a new room or auditioning, are you a good auditioner or not?
Well, I haven't had to audition very much because I stay on some of these gigs, like the last one, for 16 years. But I did audition for that one, and I went and I played a couple of songs for him, and he said, "You're just what we were looking for," and that was the end of that. Don't forget, I've been in Florida for 40 years. We don't have that much theater down here as you do in New York, and so I would really love to start auditioning to do things again. I really would.
Well, it's a new year.
Yeah,
Start doing it.
darn well better do it.
That's right. I want to put this comment up from James Beeman. One thing Francis and I have in common is this brilliant director. Oh, I love. And he says, where do we hear you saying, I'm going to do everything in my power to be at your show? But are you a good auditioner yourself? Or are you finding that by creating this persona that you become, that's made a shift for you?
Sure, I definitely feel safer in her shoes, the 5 inches that they are, for sure. And I'd say in my youth, no, I was terrible. But as I've gotten older and more secure and being confident what I have to deliver is what I have to deliver, and what happens on the other side of the table is not my business. That took a long time to get used to that.
Wow, that's great. Jessica, how have you learned to stay creatively open during periods of doubt, exhaustion, or external pressure?
Yeah. It's interesting. I have not been performing much lately, but the creative energy, one, I'm a mom, so that's it's a show every day.
And as well, she knows.
I know.
But I'm teaching a lot of group classes at the moment, and I'm loving this because it's removed from the thing I care about the most, which is, singing and telling stories. So it's very safe. But it's also this place where the goal I have from the agreement I have with myself is I will not prepare for these. I am going to walk in I have 25 years of preparing for this, right? Like I can walk in and I'm going to let whatever needs to happen. There's the people in the room. There's the bodies that need this. This is, and like, just to allow that experience to come through me, right? And trust that if it's funky and weird, we're going to navigate and go in a different direction, right? And it's all going to be great. It's going to be exactly what I want it to be. So that it's interesting to put it in a place outside of the thing that I've been so laser focused on, has actually freed up that muscle, that ability to trust and lean in.
Can I also just throw out to you, how old are your children?
7.
Well, I also have to tell you that I truly, truly, truly believe now, on hindsight, that becoming a parent was so beneficial to me as a performer. I learned so much. I learned so much that I otherwise wouldn't have even known I didn't know. So,
Well, I want you to build upon that.
Yeah.
Why do you feel that being a parent made you a better, I'm not going to say performer, entertainer?
because there's these foreign entities in your life that you understand your parents, you understand your brothers, right? But all of a sudden there's these foreign beings. They're not you. They're not. And all of a sudden, what you thought was right or true, well, maybe it isn't. Wait a minute, maybe it isn't. It totally expands your mind. It also expands your mind I'm not saying I was a great parent, but I tried. You know what I mean? So I want to say I made my mistakes. But the goal I had was, how does this child need to be communicated effectively? Like what works? And it's never the same for both kids. So I'm without knowing it, you're practicing acting choices. You know what I mean? Like you're literally like, oh, well, that didn't work. So in order to, really, really make an effort to bring out the individual that is your child or children, you have got to spread your skills to accommodate them. You have to make room for them. You know what I mean? I'll be honest with you. I just found out that my son believes something that I passionately don't. And I just found this out. And I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, I'm not going to reject him. He's my son. Okay. So I have been thinking, and he's older. But I've been thinking, this is how I parented. It was just, they were constantly challenging me.
Wow. Chris, you're a parent. Do you feel the same thing?
Well, my son is a musician also, so it's we've been learning from one another. He gives me such great ideas. He tells me I should be singing this song or I should be singing that song, and I said, well, whatever happened to that song when it was out? I was into disco back then, and I was in clubs every night listening to the greatest music from Casablanca Records and Donna Summer, and was missing out on that other music he was into, because he's a guitar player, he's a piano player, a singer, as I mentioned in the show. He does everything. But that's been an inspiration for me. Is I'll contact my son and ask him, what do you think I should be singing today?
Wow, that's very
That's
interesting.
always been a great thing to have a son.
Now, Francis, just getting to know you, do you have any children?
I do not. I do not. I don't even have any fur children. My husband says if I can't take care of myself, I can't take care of a dog. So there we go.
You know what my husband said to me when I said years ago we should adopt a child? He said, you are my child. So, Francis, how do you stay creatively open when you're feeling doubt or exhausted or just this crazy world we're living in right now?
Yeah, I think my brain is I've always been a huge dreamer. I'm also an event planner, so that's kind of the same thing. Crazy brides, crazy actors, same thing, same world. But my brain just thinks constantly of big things. I have to be reeled in constantly. And I'm most creative when I go to sleep. That's where my brain really goes into overdrive. I have to remember to write things down, otherwise I'll just forget them. And I think out of boredom or being tired, that's when you can tap into finding the things that make you happy and give you inspiration and an outlet for sure.
That's great. And Jessica, where do you find inspiration when you feel blocked? Is it people, history, silence, routine, chaos? What is it?
It's a really good question. I feel like it's always there, and it's just about like stopping and looking around. Like if I need creativity in the moment, it's there. It's just what's going to speak in the moment. And I mean, to Anne's point, like the collaboration with the child is, I mean, there's just creativity happening left, right, and center right now. So it's not something I'm short on with a 7-year-old with a very active imagination. So I can always tap into hers if I'm not feeling it myself. But it's one of these things. I'm playing an elf in the North Pole experience in our local community right now, and like it's all improv. It's just super fun, and but just being in the space lit up something, right? Like just being there and seeing, what can we do with this? And what can we do with this, right? Like there's just this tapping into the senses. I mean, what do I see? What do I smell? How do I incorporate that into the story or into the project or whatever it is? So that I'm outside myself, I think, maybe more than this trying to create something. I think that's how my system works. I want to be able to dream.
You being an
that sounds amazing, Francis. I don't even remember most of my dreams.
Francis, do you have a secret to remembering your dreams?
Ooh.
No, so usually it's right before I go to sleep, so I will have to stop myself and sometimes write them down or at least put a note in the phone. So no, and then sometimes, of course, you wake up and you're like, that was such a great idea. No idea what that was.
That's great. Anne, how do discipline and creativity coexist in your process? And where do they sometimes clash? I will say this, full disclosure, Anne and I consider Anne one of my best friends. I just love this woman so much. And we talk to each other 2 or 3 times a week, and we share our triumphs and our disappointments and our confusion at the world we're living in, both in the cabaret world, in the entertainment world, and beyond. So, Anne.
So, oh my God. So for those of you who don't know, I am so organized and so disciplined, and to the point where I once was working with Richard J. Alexander, and I brought in my program with the perspective pattern and everything on a beautiful Excel spreadsheet with the authors of the song and the year that it was released and the show it came from and all of this different stuff and how long it was going to be. I mean, like, really. And he just, like, he will never forgive me for that. He's just like, that, you're insane, you're crazy. And you can talk to my creative team now because they do the same thing. They giggle every time I come in with my sheet and they're like, oh, here comes Anne's sheet. And I think I'm a little ADHD, but like, I find that kind of order absolutely necessary because, when we actually do a performance, we have no control over what's going to happen, right? So the goal is to be completely present. So if I have everything I need to know in here, then I have anxiety issues too, Jessica. So I was listening very closely, but but I really so strongly believe that the goal is not to do the show that you rehearsed, but do the show that presently happens. Right?
Wow.
Unless you know the show, you know what I mean? Unless you know what it is, you can get lost. So yeah. So I think they go along. I can't think that they conflict.
Wow, that's great. Chris, is there a piece of work that you created that surprised even you? Something that came from a deeper place than what you expected?
Well, the show that I just did was a huge surprise for me. I didn't expect what I got out of it. I made a lot of headway in just a short period of time, and I loved it. And I think that was my that's the thing that I most enjoyed. Your question again was, Richard?
A piece of work that really surprised you.
This Look at Me Now show that I did in New York. There were a lot of surprises there, that things that I didn't know I was a comedian. The minute I opened my mouth and I said, and Sylvester Stallone's mom, I didn't even get to the next word and the audience went off. And I was so surprised that they found me to be a little funny.
I heard that about you. I didn't get to see your show. I was very sorry I didn't, but I heard that about you.
No, it's really a great show. I'm not just saying that because you're here. Francis, how does collaboration influence or challenge your creativity?
Well, I'm so grateful to be partnered with James on this, because we met at a bar and just kind of pitched my show. And I said, look, I'm not precious about this. Obviously, this is a passion project for me. I feel very much in love with it, but I need some guidance. I am ready for feedback. I am ready to make changes. I am not going to fight you on it. I want it to be the best show. And what happens in my brain doesn't always resonate with what happens out on stage. So I welcome and I'm ready for it. So we're kind of starting that right now.
And I'm sure you know a lot about James' history.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. Yeah. And I love his photos. Tremendous.
His Marlene Dietrich was flawless, as was his Lauren Bacall, and anything else he does. So really great. Jessica, how does curiosity play in sustaining your creative life over time?
Curiosity is my favorite word. I think that's it in a nutshell, right? Like it's, I mean, even to what Anne said about structure, right? Like if I have the structure and it's practiced and it's rehearsed, and the curiosity of, but what else? Like in the moment, what else?
Yes.
What's going to come in that I'm not expecting?
Yes.
I want to be surprised, right? Like, yeah. And that I think is participating with life in the present moment, right? And so if I can bring that to whatever I'm doing, whether I'm having a conversation with strangers, right? Like, or what's going to happen? Or I'm at the grocery store, what's going to happen? What is this? Like, can I bring that into everything I do? Because then it's way more fun.
That's great. I've got a question that I want to ask each of you, and I'll start with you, Anne. What advice would you give to an artist who feels disconnected from their creativity?
Wow, that sounds like a stress issue. It sounds like they're not allowing it, right? I mean, you have to think of what the cause is, because I don't care if you can't sing or dance or draw. Everyone has a creative ability. Everyone. Mm-hmm. So I guess I would ask them to be patient. And I'm going to say something that is probably you don't want me to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. It's very important to me, and my personal belief is that it is essential to every human being's life that we all have some kind of spiritual life. And when you're locked up, when you're anxious, when you're feeling insecure and all that stuff, that spiritual life is pretty much the only tool that can really get you to where you need to be. And I think that, there's so many choices out there, but I really do believe that.
And I'm glad you said that, because I truly believe that. 100.
That's why we're friends.
Yes. But, if you don't already know it, and I'm sure, Jessica, you may know this, get The Artist Way. It's my life. I begin every day with my morning pages. I make sure that I go on an artist date at least once or twice a week. I live, eat, breathe, sleep by Julia Cameron's books. And she has a new workshop, a new workbook that's coming out, and I've ordered it, and I can't wait for it to get here. Chris, I want to ask you the same thing. What piece of advice would you give to someone who feels disconnected from their art?
I get a lot of phone calls from other musicians here in Florida who are looking for work, and they don't know why they're out of work. And so I try to give them the advice of how to get the next job and what they need to do. I had a very seasoned piano player who was above me in a way where she lived in Florida a lot longer than I, and she knew the area better than I. And she was wondering why I was working so much. And I said to her, what seems to be the problem? And she says, I don't know. I want to get a job here or there, but they don't have a piano. I said, do you have an electric piano? And she said, no. I said, go and get yourself an electric piano and take the job.
Yes, practical.
And she said to me, no, I refuse to play an electric piano. It's got to be a grand piano. Then that's why you're out of work. You're not doing what you need to do to go from point A to point B. I have always reinvented myself wherever I do, whatever I do. That's why I went from what I'm doing to this cabaret show now, because I want to keep going and doing and keep creating. But that's my advice. You got to do what you got to do to get to where you want to be.
And well, that's great. I've got several thoughts are running through my head right now. Francis, same question.
Sure. I mean, I can only speak to what happened to me, just getting caught in the day-to-day, stepping away from the arts completely for well over 2 decades, and just being frustrated with that and trying to remember what made me happy. What were the things I was doing when I was happy? And one of the big steps for me, obviously, after finding drag, is finding the chorus, and being surrounded by 300 gay men every Monday night, singing your faces off, just exudes so much happiness for me, which allows me to be creative. So for anybody who's stuck and frustrated, taking a step back and remembering what it was when you were finding these creative moments and the happiness.
That's great. Jessica, same question.
I think about humans now as input-output machines in a way, spiritual beings, but creativity is this output, this expression of something. And if I'm not fueling, if I'm not, bringing in joy and all of these things, then yeah, there isn't fuel to create. And so the stress piece is definitely a piece of it. But I think, one of the, and, I've got really cool tools to play with to wake up senses and do all these things. And that's great. But like the simplest thing, I'm going to come back to curiosity, right? Like if I'm washing the dishes, there's something creative about that, right? Like doesn't matter what I'm doing. Can I tap into what I am doing? I am in motion. I am participating in life in some way. Even if I'm lying in bed, I'm breathing in air, right? Like there's something happening, and can I just bring my awareness to that and then let that build and grow and steer?
When are you going to write your book? No, this is great. I mean, every artist should hopefully hear what you're saying.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anne, I'm going to flip the coin.
Oh.
What is the greatest piece of advice that you've ever gotten in this business about tapping into your creativity?
Oh. I don't know if I want to tell you that. Well, it was really insulting, but it really made me a better performer in the end. My teacher at Carnegie Mellon used to cast me in everything, but we were doing one show and he looked at me, and in front of the entire cast, he said, "You know what your problem is?" He said, "You have no taste." And I have to say that has ridden me for as many years.
This was after casting you in so many shows?
Yeah, well, I found out 40 years later. He absolutely loved my talent. Loved it. but do you say that to someone that you love their talent? I was like, really? Because, okay, whatever. But it was very valuable. In the end, it was a very valuable thing because it is something that I worked on. I mean, yeah.
That's great. Chris,
Yes.
same question. The greatest piece of advice that you've ever received to tap into your creativity?
Is to be yourself. Be yourself.
Mhm.
I was myself in the show that you saw. James Beeman put it into the correct words. I was honest. I told the truth. I wasn't afraid to be myself.
Mm-hmm.
Not that when I look back at the show, I can't say, well, you should have done that. You could
Well,
have
we all
done
do
that
that.
better. We all do that. But
Yeah.
that's what people tell me, be your definite self.
That's incredible. Francis?
Yeah, as simple as it may be, if you're constantly thinking about and worried about what other people are viewing
Yep.
for you, you're never going to get out of your own way. And that was a problem for many years for me, constantly thinking about what's happening on the optic side, not what I'm able to give.
Well, can I tell you something? If people have paid gas, tolls, parking, taxi rides, possibly a good or bad dinner prior to your coming on, and everything that you could possibly throw into that, they are not there to judge you. They're there to be entertained, and always know that. That's great. Jessica, same question. Greatest piece of advice that you ever received?
So much. What's coming up for me, in addition to curiosity, is I think finding ways to tap into something that's bigger than me and to allow it to infiltrate. And whether that is, collaboration or collaboration with something more spiritual or something along those lines, right? That open-mindedness and allowing, right? That it's always there and it's always available. And it doesn't have to come just from me, that's limiting, that there's more available and more expansive. And if I'm stuck, then, lean into others, seen or unseen.
Well, I want to say I've learned from all of you today, so thank you all for being here. I'm going to give each and every one of you a chance to have your final word today. It could be about anything that we spoke about that you want to build upon, something that we didn't talk about that you wish we had, or just any final message you want to leave. It could be on topic, off topic, anything that you want to get off your mind today. And when I finish, I will pick one of you to lead that, and then you'll pick the next person, and so on, until the last person says goodbye. And then I'll end the show, and you don't have to worry about how do I end this. But I'm thinking about this time of year, especially here in New York, all of us are pulled in 25, 30 different directions every single day. And I'm a big yes person. Yes is my mantra. I think about, yes, how can I be of service every morning when I get up to everyone that I encounter, whether it be via email, phone calls, or in person. And I try to say yes. I realize we can't say yes to everybody, but I try to say yes. And what is it that you need that I can help you to get out there and be seen? And because the one thing that I think all of us have in common in this business and everybody watching is that we want to be acknowledged. That's all. We want to be acknowledged. If you send an email out to somebody, it takes very little effort to say, thank you, I got this. I read it. I saw it. So many people. And I realize that people are so quick to just delete and go to the next email. It's important that we acknowledge each other, especially in this crazy world that we're living in right now. Acknowledgement is the most important thing. And I believe that certain people in office behave the way that they do because they weren't acknowledged as kids. And they're still trying to prove it as adults. You know who I'm talking about. I don't need to say anything else. But I end all of my shows with the same message. And that is to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. And we all have this device. So today, when you get off the phone, by the way, everybody who watched the show today, please leave a comment on my YouTube channel, share, like, and if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button. All of those efforts will elevate this show in terms of ranking. But when you get off the phone today, go to the 8th email that you receive. And instead of responding with an email, respond with a phone call. Just reach out to that person, and I want you all to let me know how it goes. Okay? Now, I have a dear friend, Sean Moniger, and he always says we're all living in the same storm, but we're in different size boats. And I always say, I don't care what size boat you're on, as long as you have a skipper by your side. And with that, I'm going to leave the screen, and Jessica, I'm turning it over to you. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Happy whatever you celebrate. Jessica, it's all yours.
What a joy this has been. I have had so much fun. Thank you, Richard, for inviting me, and for all of you four to get to know you a little bit. I'm looking forward to following you. I think in that vein of acknowledgement, I think community is a really big deal, and that, you know, being with others and talking to others. And if anyone is interested in learning more about how to play with your brain to improve creativity, I have a free community. It's the Neuro Playground. It's a school community. You can access it all through my Instagram page. I've got reels and all kinds of fun stuff happening there. But I would love to have you come play. It's just a fabulous group of beautiful, creative people that are coming together to, you know, keep themselves buzzing and shining as brightly as we can in this wild, wacky world. So just really thrilled to be here. I'm supposed to tip it to someone else next, yes?
Mhm.
Okay. Francis, you're up.
Oh, sure. I used to work for a drag queen. Her name is Dixie Longate, and one of her mantras was bump a duck, and what she meant by when a duck ripples in a pond, it ripples and ripples and ripples. And the effects that you have on your day-to-day acknowledgements and with other people affect them. And this show, my show, Torch Song Soliloquy, is a series of bumping a duck from people doing that for me. And I'm so thrilled to be able to partner with Drew Rucky and James Beeman to be able to do this. But it's kind of opened my eyes to how strong of a moment that is, just being the kindness and gestures and just acknowledging other people, and how that little thing can have such a great effect, especially this time of year. So I will find my 8th email, and I will reply to that right now. And for those of you who can join me at the Laurie Beachman on February 20th, I hope to see you there at 7 p.m. Thanks so much for having me.
Do you want to go, Chris, or do you want me to go? Oh, you're on. Yeah. Do you want to go, or do you want me to go?
I just want to say I want to take this time to thank Richard for everything that he's done for every one of us. And for me recently, for being at my show, for doing all those testimonials he did at the end of my show, which I had no idea was being done because I was thrown out of the room to go into the other piano bar room, and I didn't know that was going on. And when I got the video and I saw everything that he did and how he made my show, it was like the cherry on top of the whipped cream on the Sunday of that show. I want to thank Richard for everything that he has done. I am also here in Florida. I love to promote other musicians and singers, and I love helping people. And but my leaving the show today, I want to thank Richard for everything that he does in this show business world, and I really appreciate it. And Anne, I loved your performance at the Cabaret Convention. Even though I haven't met you, I'm meeting you now.
Right.
And maybe you'll come to my spring show in March or April and see everybody then. Thank you so much, everybody. It was great to meet you and see you.
This is such a busy time of year. You schedule things, you hope you can fit it in, and then something happens and something else comes up and it's a priority. And that's part of what this holiday season does to all of us. And so whether or not you get everything done, I hope everyone just gives themselves a break and remember that it's about enjoying the meaningful things about this holiday, and let yourself do that. I have to learn that too. So part of the reason I'm saying it is to tell myself I got to do that. I wish you all just a very meaningful and beautiful holiday season. Happy New Year. And there are still shows out there to be seen, even this weekend. We've got Doris Dear at the Triad tonight. We've got Chris Autore, who's Sunday at DTM, Don't Tell Mama. We've got Karen Mason, who's at Green Room 42 tonight, tomorrow night, and Sunday night. That's just this weekend, folks. So plenty of opportunity to get in the spirit if you're not yet. And enjoy your day.